put up Kind 17. The Third World Wars, Arming Our Enemies. You really need to go through this document. You're going to learn a whole lot about Obama, Benghazi, the Afghan wars, and you're going to realize how incredibly dangerous Hillary and Obama was and is. It's actually very scary. I had said that Benghazi was allowed to happen, and that's what this article pretty much states. Obama wanted it to happen so he could continue arming the IS insurgents. You're going to, again, find this article to be fascinating. Now, I've gone through it, but please take the time. Hillary Clinton on Gaddafi, we came, we saw, he died. Let's hear what she has to say.
So, I mean, that is the land of unconfirmed videos.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
Did it have anything to do with your visit?
No, I'm sure it did.
You heard what she said, huh? And then you see Gaddafi's body. They shoved a pipe up his rectum. That's how they killed him. The evidence is overwhelming that the United States had several rescue teams ready to go during the 2012 Benghazi attack, but someone, possibly the president himself, prevented them from acting. So said Emmy Award-winning journalist Cheryl Atkinson to talk show host Steve Malzberg in an interview on Wednesday. The only one that can give that kind of order to our military is the President of the United States. He gave not one, but I believe 2 stand-down orders, which resulted in a slaughter of innocent people. Senator Rand Paul says that Hillary Clinton deserves 5 years in prison for lying to Congress about the true nature of the CIA operation in Benghazi that was attacked by terrorists in 2012. See that crack smoker with those big floppy ears? The Obama administration officials, with the awareness of the Secretary of State, were involved in violating a ban on arming rebels in Syria in an operation that mirrors the Iran-Contra scandal during the Reagan administration. You can't make this stuff up, folks. Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter Seymour Hersh says that Benghazi was really a CIA outpost for running weapons captured from Libya after Gaddafi was overthrown in Syria, approved on a bipartisan basis by both Democrats and Republicans. How many times have you heard me say our Congress is worthless? Second, it had been confirmed that the U.S. backed al-Qaeda terrorists in Libya so they would overthrow Gaddafi. Third, as we noted right after Gaddafi left, the Obama administration stated reasons for going into Libya making no sense. Now, Rand Corporation political scientists theorize that Obama might have decided to bomb Libya, not for any reason having to do with Libya or Gaddafi themselves, but rather to keep the Arab Spring going. The U.S. ousted Gaddafi and then left, and Libya has now descended into chaos. Yeah, Hillary and Obama created the Arab Spring. Then you see that piece of shit John McCain when he's having dinner or lunch with terrorists. Baghdadi. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Now, as I scroll down, See a clip there of Obama. Now slow down, folks. Treason? Question marks. You don't even know if I'm American. Yeah, well, we know you're not American. You're a Kenyan-born Muslim. You need to go through this entire article. There's all kinds of links you can go off on as well. If only I had a, you know, the thing. They show you a scarecrow of Biden. Now, Mark Levin, let's listen to what he has to say. Mark Levin, Biden is largely responsible for arming. He's a definite fan of Trump. So let's have a listen to what he has to say.
I want to point out a couple of things to you. I said I'm going to get some things off my chest, and I am. Trump killed Soleimani, the head Nazi, really, of the Iranian military. Trump was destroying the Iranian economy with brutal sanctions. The Iranians were rising up. They don't like that government. They don't like the Nazi government in Tehran. And they're now being mowed down, slaughtered, raped, imprisoned, God knows what, because of our current policies. Trump was Israel's greatest friend in the Oval Office ever. Can that be said of Obama or Biden? No. Biden reversed everything. Biden rebuilt the Iranian war machine. I'll prove it in a minute. I'm sure the reporters and others getting information from the Biden Pentagon and White House won't tell you this. No. I'll tell you this. Biden rebuilt the Palestinian war machine. They were all on their heels. That's why there wasn't a war when Donald Trump was president between the Nazi terrorists.
Everything Mark Levin says is true, except it's not just Biden. I don't know if he's afraid to say that it's Obama for fear of being killed, I guess. But Biden doesn't have enough smarts, or whoever's playing Biden, to wipe his ass. Let's go back.
Iranian Nazi regime and the Israelis. And the Israelis today are paying with their lives. I told you, I'm not candy coating a damn thing around here. And I'm not going to. Now, what do I mean that Biden rebuilt the Iranian war machine? Well, the $6 billion is in this account, and it'll be that account. Okay, forget about the $6 billion. Although, the idea that a president of the United States would give $6 billion, or allowed to be given, to the Iranian regime that threatens the United States of America, that's unleashing holy Nazi-like hell on the Jewish people in Israel, and is threatening to get nukes, that's insane in and of itself. Iran's illicit oil exports hit 5-year high. Free beacon, Adam Cradle. How is that possible? We have sanctions on their oil. How is that possible? Trump put sanctions in there. Well, Biden didn't exactly lift them, but he's not enforcing them. Listen to this. Iranian oil exports, a principal source of income for Tehran's cash-strapped regime, increased by 35% from 2021 to 2022. Gee, who was president then? Indicating that the Biden administration is not enforcing sanctions meant to prevent these sales. Oh, there's more. Get ready. I bet you haven't heard this all day. Amid this uptick in Iranian aggression, the Biden administration has failed to enforce sanctions on Tehran's oil trade, which benefits China, Syria, Venezuela. Iranian oil sales stood at $44 billion as of August 2022, a 77% increase from Trump's last year in office, with analysis attributing the rise to President Biden's, quote, terminally lax sanctions enforcement. Although the Biden administration has been armed with the intelligence information to seize at least 6 illicit Iranian oil ships in recent months, it has detained 1 ship in the past year, likely to appease Tehran amid diplomatic talks to restart the 2015 nuclear deal. Biden has also provided sanction waivers, permitting Iran access to $10 billion that was frozen in Iraq. Oh, but that's $6 billion in that account and that account. Biden is funding Iran and rebuilt their damn military after Trump had it on its back. Let's be honest. Now, The fact is that sanctions relief to Iran is fungible. And Iran has been using these resources to go from, listen to this, America, this affects us, 2% enriched uranium and not installing advanced centrifuges under the Trump administration to racing towards nuclear weapons under Biden, becoming a nuclear threshold state enriching more than 60% enriched uranium. 2% to 60%. Can you imagine if the Iranian Tehran Nazi regime had nuclear weapons today? Because that's what's coming. And then Biden has secret negotiations with the Iranians. Congress can't even get access to the information other than 8 or so people. They keep saying, what are you negotiating? We need to know what's going on. And they keep pushing them away, pushing them away. I don't have to tell you anything, the administration tells Congress. Then they pick exactly the wrong guy, this guy named Malloy, to negotiate, who's sympathetic with the Iranians. And now, of course, he doesn't even have a classified, clearance. What's that all about? I'm just getting started. Biden reverses Trump policy on aid to Palestinians. Fox News fails to condemn recent terror wave against Israel. Our enemies see all this. They see appeasement. Am I not supposed to talk about Biden and appeasement? Was Churchill not supposed to talk about appeasement? Oh, Mark, you're being political. No, I'm telling you the truth. President Biden reaffirmed his commitment to a two-state solution. You know what a two-state solution is for Israel? It's the final solution. Look, that's just Gaza. You're going to have 2 states? What are they going to have, an air force? Are they going to have missile silos? What's this second state going to look like? And announced plans to bolster U.S. financial aid to the Palestinian people, reversing multiple policies implemented by, that horrible Donald Trump. During his comments, the president touched upon his administration's plans to implement a series of economic and confidence-building measures aimed at improving daily life for Palestinian people living in the West Bank, Gaza, but he stopped short of condemning Palestinian terrorism. Gee willikers. The president also said the U.S. would increase financial contributions to the controversial UN agency, UNRWA, that supports and advocates for Palestinian refugees, adding another $200 million to its budget to become the largest donor country. You see, the Palestinians want the refugees. They want their people poor because the head of the Palestinian regimes, whether it's the Authority, whether it's Hamas, they ruin their people. You basically have mobster-type Nazi thugs running everything. All the money comes through them. They divide their economies up. They have relatives. They have consiglieres that run everything. But look at this one, Newsweek. Biden's Taylor Force betrayal. What's that all about? Joe Biden's recent gift of $235 million, oh, he's pouring the money out, in aid to the Palestinians violates the spirit of the Taylor Force Act. It betrays the memory of Taylor Force himself. Who was he? He was a West Point graduate, U.S. Army veteran and graduate student at Vanderbilt University. He was 28 years old when he was murdered in Israel by a Palestinian terrorist named Bashar Maha on March 8, 2016. Maha wounded 10 others in his attack before being killed by the Israeli police. His family immediately attained celebrity status. Oh, under Abbas, that's the Palestinian Authority, the good ones, Celebrity status. And you know what they awarded him? They awarded his parents a big pension. Much of it paid with our tax dollars. So Congress said that's enough. So did President Trump. 2 years later, the Taylor Force Act was signed into law, ending all future aid to the Palestinian Authority unless and until the practice of rewarding terrorists and their families through the Martyrs Fund is ended. They didn't end it. So Trump put an end to it. And guess what? Joe Biden is ignoring the Taylor Force Act. And so the money continues to flow. The new funding was just one part of Biden's apparent plan to reverse all of Donald Trump's Palestinian-related policies. And then look at this. Just the other day, New York Times. Democrats tell Biden Saudi-Israel pact needs concessions for Palestinians. Here's Israel and the Saudi crown prince, this close to a peace deal. And Biden interrupts and says, not so fast. We need concessions to the Palestinians. Democrats, 20 Democrat senators signed a letter. No. No deal until there's more concessions to the Palestinians. Folks, I'm about sick and tired of candy coating all this stuff. Let me cut to the chase. The Biden administration has helped arm up the Iranian regime, helped to arm up Hamas, which gets support from the Iranian regime, helped to arm up Hezbollah, which gets support from the Iranian regime, and all the rest of it. And Joe Biden, in large measure, is responsible for it. And 1.5 years to go with this administration. We can only pray to God that the Iranian regime doesn't have nuclear weapons until this man can be removed from office, God willing.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click.
How is it that Levine doesn't add 2 and 2 and get 4? Biden doesn't even know what day it is, doesn't know where he is. This is all Obama and his administration. Another link here I'm going to play. You're going to find this to be interesting. Guess what the Israeli-Palestine war is really about? 453 billion in oil and gas found in Gaza. Let's have a listen. Plays for 15 minutes. Assuming it'll play. It's just buffering right now. It's pretty insane, huh?
Something else.
Yeah,
well, guess what?
It's about a clash of civilizations, Jimmy.
That's right. Clash of Civilizations. It's the oldest story in the book. It's about natural gas. It's about oil and gas. You ready? Watch this.
Gaza is rich, gas rich, at least 1.4 trillion cubic feet rich, to be precise. But there's a catch.
Geologists and natural resources economists have confirmed that the occupied Palestinian territory lies above sizable reservoirs of oil and natural gas wealth in Area C of the occupied West Bank and the Mediterranean coast off the Gaza Strip. To date, the real and opportunity costs of the occupation exclusively in the area of oil and natural gas have accumulated to tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars.
Back in 1999, the
And now you know the rest of the story.
I mean, you don't even have to finish the story because I know exactly how this goes.
That's right.
It goes the same way every single time.
So wait, this means it's not about religion, Kurt.
No.
I mean, sure, it's about religion for suckers who have to fight and die for the energy business.
Right, and Bill Maher.
And Bill Maher. I just mean it's not about religion for any of the people in charge making the decisions about the war in Gaza. Boy, why does God always leave incredible wealth underneath bad people?
I know.
It's such a such a hassle having to wipe them out to get our energy-related gifts from our God.
I mean, since I was a boy, listen to my Bible story book tapes. The bad people been on top of the stuff God said we could have.
Do I really need to play the rest of this video? I don't think I do. I'll still play a little bit, but that's it. You got the story. That's it.
I mean, you don't have to.
That's it.
I did start looking it up because it's the BG Group, which is a British exploration company who found it.
BP or BG?
BGG.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't know if they got split off or something, but
it's
they were going
like
to cut a deal. This is 1999. They were going to cut a deal, but then 2006 is when they had they had something going around 2006. Whenever 2008, when Israel went back in, that's when they took the oil fields, and they planned the attack while fake negotiating to do the oil deal. It turned out they had planned it, kind of like we did with Putin.
Yeah.
A lot of these natural gas things are very similar. You pretend you're going to have a peaceful thing while you build up whatever you're going to do to go
That's what the Minsk Peace Accords were about.
If you look at it, I noticed some similarities, that's all I'm saying.
So I'll play a little bit more, but that's really...
Palestinian authorities signed a deal with British Gas. Just off the Gaza coast, they struck it lucky, and 2 wells were drilled. That's Gaza Marine 1 and 2. It was a multi-billion-dollar gift from God, an economic boon both home and abroad.
This is one of the key messages here today. There will be gas available for export. And from my conversations with Palestinian officials, including President Arafat, it is clear that they have no interest in just sitting on a gas surplus.
Fast forward to 2007, Hamas comes to power, and Israel launches an offensive on the Gaza Strip, leaving behind
So let's remember why Israel's funding Hamas.
Yeah.
That's the thing no one talks about. Israel's funding Hamas. Why do you think they're funding Hamas? So they can then use their terrorism, they're fighting back against the occupation and the blockade, as a pretext to go in and take that land. That's why they're telling everybody, get the hell out of there. We're gonna flatten it. We're dropping leaflets. Get the hell out of there. We're gonna flatten the land, and then we're gonna take all the gas and oil. That's what this is all about, of course.
I think they already took it way back then, didn't they?
Here we go.
1,500 dead Palestinians, but taking with it the gas
Yeah,
fields.
got it.
Now, within the year, Israel announced the discovery of the Leviathan natural gas field, which did include Gaza's riches. All in all, valued at $453 billion.
Wow, that's almost as much money as Jeff Bezos has. That's a lot of money.
How much does he have?
I don't know. I thought he was a trillionaire almost. Wasn't he close?
No, is he?
Am I wrong? We're going to look it up. Here we go. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought he was close to being a trillionaire.
Then Gazans haven't seen a shekel, or to be more accurate, they have been denied around $47 billion in revenue.
So they're not giving any of the money to the Palestinians.
Yeah, they already did take it, and they didn't give them their share.
They already took it.
Yeah.
Okay.
As for Tel Aviv, well, it's gunning to become a new hub.
This is a historical moment in which the small country of Israel becomes a significant player in the global energy market. The Memorandum of Understanding will enable Israel, for the first time, to export Israeli natural gas to Europe. And it is even more impressive looking at the significant set of agreements we signed over the last year, which position Israel and the Israeli energy and water sectors as a key global player.
Let's just run through this then. At that moment in time, so we're talking 2022, Russian oil and gas was sanctioned. Iranian oil was sanctioned. Syrian oil fields were, and still are, illegally occupied by US forces. Now, the key port of Latakia was being bombed by Israel, and the port of Beirut, the gateway to the Middle East, lay in ruins.
There was just that crazy ammonia explosion or something. Remember that? Remember that big explosion in the... Oh, it was whoops, just a quinky dink.
Is that a greenhouse gas?
A quinky dink.
Enter this small country of Israel right here with its seas of gas, its working ports, an answer to Europe's problems, and perhaps, most critically, the US blessing. Because in case you didn't know, US Congress has decided that Israeli energy is in the highest national security interests of Washington. So DC was only too happy for Tel Aviv to become a key global player. After all, it had itself previously mulled over ways in which to make its 51st state a window onto Europe.
Another interesting application of nuclear excavation would be a sea-level canal 160 miles long across Israel, connecting the Mediterranean with the Gulf of Aqaba, and thus the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean. Such a canal would be a strategically valuable alternate to the present Suez Canal.
The Suez Canal is a gold mine. It connects...
All right, I played 7 minutes of a 15-minute and 35-second clip. It's obvious that things aren't always what they appear to be, huh? I'll attach the link. Please take the time to go through it. Like I said, you're going to learn a whole lot if you take the time to do your own due diligence. The link will be attached. Pass it along, folks. I cannot do this alone.